Today on Smackey's Garage, we're going to be working on this 1994 Mustang. If you've been following along, we put the Holley system in it, and now I don't have a speedometer. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to try to figure out what wires go to the speedometer and answer the question that happens to pop up on a lot of the forums is, can you actually make the speedometer work again on these cars after you put a Holley system in, or are you stuck? The only other thing that doesn't work that I've noticed is the tachometer on the dash. So that's something else that we can fix too. Since this video's up, it seems like I figured it out. So let's go ahead, let's jump into it. So this car is a 1994 Mustang. This should be the same for 94 and 95. We're gonna go ahead and see if we can make this work. Now, this has the Holley kit in it. It is the Anderson Ford Motorsports version of it. So it has all the harnesses that are on the engine, like the injectors, the O2 sensor. Everything is adapted for this car. Just there's no speedometer anymore because those wires are cut. And we're gonna go ahead and see if we can figure out how to make those work. Now this here's the wiring diagram for the 1994 Mustang. And the quick way to look at this is the instrument cluster. And then these are all the sensors that go to the instrument cluster. Now we're gonna be focused on two different areas, which is the speedometer and the tachometer. Now, first we'll look at the speedometer, and you can see it's a pink and orange wire and a gray with black wire that go to the vehicle speed sensor. So what we need to do is we need to figure out exactly where these wires are that come from the instrument cluster, probably where the old computer was, and then connect them to where the vehicle speed sensor is. Hopefully it's just as straightforward as connecting these, and then it should work. Now I'm going to show you how I'm going to diagnose this and figure out if this is the right way to do this or not, but here's where we're going to start to find the wires. Now in the engine bay, back here, there's going to be a connector, and this harness is coming off of the transmission. So you can see it back there. A lot of these wires were removed in the installation of the Holley system. And here we're going to focus on two wires that I pulled out. Now we're going to focus on these two wires here, which look to be pink with orange and gray with black. The pink one's definitely worn out, but I believe these are the ones we're looking for. And then on the inside of the car, you can see there's two connectors in here. You have this black one, and then you have this gray one. This gray one is the one with the two wires I think I'm looking for, the gray with black and the pink with orange. So I believe these two are going to go connected there. Now I'm going to go ahead and put some alligator clips in here. We're going to connect everything to see if it works before I end up running wires for this. Now the way that I check a lot of this out before I go ahead and put wires in is I made these extremely long alligator clips, and they come in very useful in projects like this because you can temporarily run wires pretty much from the front to the back of the car. So I believe this is probably around 20 feet and this is probably around 20 feet. So that's gonna allow me to run this temporarily anywhere I want. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna run it from here into the car. So here around inside the window and then connect it to where it's supposed to go. And we're gonna go ahead and check to see if the speedometer works after I do this. Then if it does, we can take everything apart, put it back together the right way. Okay, everything is connected now. We can go ahead and check it out. Now, the way I'm going to check this out, I think is going to jack up the rear of the car by the rear end. Just get the wheels off the ground, put it in gear, get the wheel spinning, see if the speedometer moves at all. All right, so wheels are indeed in the air. Now we can go ahead and check it out. All right, seems to be working. Okay, so it seems to be working. Really not that bad of a project. You just have to connect these wires together. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna connect them the same place that I ran my previous harness, and that should be all set. I mean, if the project was really as easy as that. It's just two wires that need to be connected. I guess now it's trying to figure out how to reconnect the tach. So now to check on the tach side, I believe the best way to run the tach is gonna be directly off of the coil. So the negative side is what switches it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to build this connector here so that I can plug this in between the coil and the tach We're going to test it out, see if it works. If it does, we'll wire everything up and I'll show you exactly the diagram of how I did it. Now to make this work, I'm going to end up putting this in between the coil, the white wire that goes to the coil, and one side of the coil. So this is going to connect here. This other side will connect to the coil, and this will go to my tester. Okay, get started, see what I see. Okay, so the good news is I see the signal coming from the coil, so we're gonna go ahead and run that to the wire inside there. We're gonna double check and make sure everything works, and then we're gonna go ahead and after that, we should be able to just run all the wires and that'll be it. Okay, so now I'm running the wire from the coil right there, so the white side all the way into here, and we're gonna do the same thing and try to figure out what goes to the tach. But unfortunately in here now, there's a lot of tan wires and it's really hard to see which one is tan with yellow, so I'm going to have to probe around a little bit. All right, found it. Took a little while, but I found it, so now I have a tach reading. All right, so now we get to run the wires there. It's going to be off of the white wire off of the coil. So my coil is actually down deep into there. So I need to run a wire from here to the back and then around. I'm going to end up making one pigtail. I'm going to run it from here, back, through here, in through here, into the here, and then all three of these wires are going to go into here. And it was hard to tell which is which, but this one right here on the plug, so you have to orient yourself. So it is this tan with yellow, really hard to see just because the yellow doesn't show up anymore. But you can kind of see it, I guess. But that's the wire that it goes into. And then I'm going to go ahead and wire everything up, and then we'll go ahead, test it out, make sure everything works. All right, so wiring is all set now. I made sure that I got the right length of the wires, and so this is going to go inside of the car. It's going to go through the fender wall. Then it's going to stop here at the speedometer. So both of these are labeled correctly, so I know what colors they go to. Then this one is going to go to the tach, and I'm going to end up putting a connector on there. So that should be all set. We're going to go ahead and connect it right now, and then we'll see if everything works, and we'll take the car out for a quick drive, make sure we have tachometer, speedometer. So quickly look at the wiring, and you can see here, so this is the gray with black going to the speedometer. This is the pink with orange that's going to the speedometer. And then this is the tan with yellow that's going to the tach. So pretty easy wiring job to get this all set up. All right, we're on and in the air. Tach is working. All right, simple project, but you can see the tachometer and speedometer is working now. So it really wasn't that bad, just some wiring that needed to be reattached and, didn't have to go through the computer to make it work. So thanks for tuning in this week to Smacky's Garage. I'll see you next time.